everyone, this is Beth. This is a quick little preface to this Frauds Fairy card because Laiste was these. I always massacre these names. I have no Gaelic, but I have like a tiny bit of Gaelic, but not enough to really say things well. But she was filmed in 2019. So if there's no references to anything happening in 2020, that's why. After a break last year, the fairies and I decided to finish it up this year, so we should be able to do 2 cards a month, get this done in a year. So, but just so you know, this was filmed over a year ago in 2019, and we're starting with this on the first week simply because it is filmed and easy to get out. So enjoy and have a great day. Hey there everyone, and it's another Frauds Fairy Oracle card video. So we are in the, no we're not, I lied, we're not in the Helpline Troop yet. Last check before we hit Helpline Chick and move into a whole new section. So this is Laiste Moon's daughter. I'm probably massacring the name. My Gaelic pronunciation is not that awesome. And the transliteration for Gaelic just makes me want to stab myself sometimes. It's like when you're looking at L-A-I-O-G-H-R-E, Larry, not Logie. Oh God. Whoever translated Gaelic, I'm not very happy with them. It really needs an update to get rid of some of the vowels that we don't know what to do with. And some of the weird kind of creations and yeah. So, but Laiste, now my little Gaelic transliteration rant, because I don't think Gaelic's that difficult if we had better transliteration, but that's neither here nor there for Laiste, the Moon's daughter. So she's kind of a fun one to work with. She's got a little smile on her face, and she's not in the Helpline. She's in Guides and Guardians. Oops, I just lost a post. Yeah, I think she's in Guides and Guardians. Yep, Guides and Guardians. So she's a fairy guide. Stick my post-it back in here. I've post-its at all the sections, so it makes my life so much easier. So she's still part of the Guides and Guardians. This is the last one. And she's one of those people, when she shows up, there's usually some change happening, and you usually need to pay a lot of attention to what's going on. She casts light into the shadows, spiritual guidance, illumination via riddles. She can be really, she's not gonna stick it in your face and shake it at you. That's what the challengers do. They don't go, oh, look. She's not gonna do that. She's gonna be like, I sent you that dream the other night. Did you get it? And did you understand it? Now, where are you going to use it? What are you going to do with that dream I sent you? And you're like, I still haven't figured it out yet. So her input is not always the more straightforward. It's valuable, it's interesting, and definitely will help you get somewhere. But it's not necessarily something that you're going to be like, or if you do, about 5 seconds later, it's like the dream I had about at the end of my death card year. I had this dream of like, I was in my crawl space and I was like being born out of my crawl space over and over and over again, but the canal and the crawl space kept getting smaller and smaller, and then a voice said, what do you want? And the voice said, just be done with me, or don't remember exactly. And like in my dream, I understood it perfectly, and then I woke up the next morning and went, be done with what? And then the brain starts kicking in, and I'm like, basically the gist was be done with like the mega amount of change and engaging with the death card. That was my current year card, and make my transition. I had a really hard time with that transition that year. I got really into death, and as a result, Yeah, like that would be something she would send you to send you the message. You can think of it as your higher self, your inner knowing, cosmic wisdom kind of stuff. In a way, it's like that stuff that you remember more than no. Does that make sense? She's a mystical card. She's a lot of. I love Froude's artwork to begin with, but this is one of. I like the amount of light he gets into a painting. Those wings with all that light. But looking into the parts of self that you really don't want to pay that much attention to, even sometimes the guides and guardians and the helpline troop have a theme of shadow that runs underneath them, and Laiste is definitely one who has that shadow aspect in her of looking at the things you're like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to see what that does. I don't want to deal with that. And sometimes those things we've shoved off for so long end up not having as much of a trigger as we thought they were going to have. And sometimes they do. Any spiritual work where you're going that deeply, always need to walk a path of being safe and making sure that you're not going to harm yourself by engaging with these issues, because some are going to be like, oh yeah, that's okay, and others could wipe you out. And if you're going to deal with something that wipes you out, make sure you have a good support system and or a therapist. Therapy can be a good thing. It's not always accessible though, unfortunately. So pay attention to your dreams, what's showing up in signs, your intuition, inner knowledge, all that kind of stuff. It brings that to the surface. And a lot of times when I'm working with her, I'm not what I would call a natural dreamer. I don't remember a lot of my dreams on a regular basis. When I'm working with this chick, I tend to have more dreams that have more meaning than normal, and I remember them. So it's kind of interesting. So if you're not a natural dreamer and trying to work with some dreams, also, choosing to work with someone like Laiste is a way to help do that. So when she's not working so well in your life, things feel contradicted, you feel anxious, you almost can feel like you're falling backward, being kind of scared of what you are, ignoring what's showing up. You kind of feel like you're almost stuck in the mud. You get quagmired when you ignore the messages she's sending you, and you're doing it to yourself. And the minute you start to pay attention and see the patterns, because a lot of times what's happening is just willful, like, I don't want to see it, not gonna look, not looking, no, kind of stuff. And when you do make that conscious choice to look, you can see the pattern and the things that are falling into place that she's helping you understand. When it's contradicted, it's anxiety, changes. Feeling, being wary, falling backwards are all things right here. The thing with her too is like, she's kind of the nice chick. This is who comes first, and then you get Dorcha, who's a challenger card if you don't pay attention to her. And Torcha's a lot more kick your butt. She's a challenger. So if you're ignoring those signs that are coming to you, and a lot of times a sign is just simply what you decide is a sign. You feel a sense of awe, that can be your sign. I know people who will ask for specific signs and get them. So you can ask for that too. But she'll often speak to you in dreams. And they may not be the most clear-cut things you have that week, but she'll help you see where you're going, know where you're going, and when you step into her, she's a lot of fun. And when you run away from her, it's not so fun. And sometimes it can be difficult to know, to interpret, not necessarily know the sign. Sometimes you're like, I got the sign. What the hell does it mean? And that's a whole nother ball game. And she likes riddles. A lot of fairies like riddles, of not giving it. It's like you get this ball of information, and then you have to sort it out and figure it out however you figure it out. I often take it to my art journal to do this figuring out. And that really helps me get signs, omens, messages, intuition out of me in a way that makes sense to my brain. May not make sense to your brain, but it works for me. So you gotta figure out those things, that how, like, what's your main clair can be helpful. Very clairaudient, hear a lot of things. So color, music, that kind of stuff for me is very important when I'm trying to figure out what someone like Laiste is telling me. So, alrighty. Everyone have a wonderful day and go out there and be the love in the world. Bye-bye.